Hey y'all, good evening. Happy Friday. It is the last day in January. Wow, this month has already gone by so quickly. Never expected it to go by so quickly, but it has. Um it's been a minute since I've posted. As y'all know from the last video, I was not feeling my best, but I still wanted to, in an effort to be consistent, I needed to post something this week for my career tip number 3, but also just to check in and make sure everyone is doing well, and prayerfully everyone is having a great week and is enjoying the last day of January. So, with that said, this will be kind of a short video, but I wanted to give another career tip when it comes for young adults, all adults, any and all people who need to hear it. When it comes to your career, it is very important to schedule one-on-ones with your managers or your leadership team, supervisor, team lead, manager, even a director, if you get to that point. Um, I say this mainly because, you want to make sure that you have a connection to your direct superior or superiors when it comes time for quarterly reviews, performance reviews, annual reviews, but also making sure that your one-on-ones, you and your direct leadership are on the same page when it comes to certain topics and certain things when it comes to your career growth. I have found that those one-on-one conversations are very pivotal and very, very important when it comes to me needing to discuss how I feel I'm progressing within the company, whatever company I'm working for. And the way I see it, there's no, to me, there's no company, in my opinion, where it couldn't work for you to have one-on-ones with your management team. And I would say maybe starting with your direct superior, whether it's your team lead, supervisor, manager, any one of those three, or if you want to just do your manager, whatever works. But just keep in mind, if you have a team lead, a supervisor, and a manager, your manager is likely going to have conversations with the other two as it relates to your progress. So definitely, at the very least, have conversations and one-on-ones with, the person that's directly above you when it comes to who you report to. Now, another reason why I think it's very important, because you don't want there to be any surprises when your annual performance review comes up, and you don't want there to be any surprises with just how your progress is going throughout the year. I think it makes sense to schedule those one-on-ones just to do, mini check-ins. It doesn't have to be a full hour conversation. It could be maybe a 15, 20-minute conversation. Send the invite via email, or if you're doing Gmail, Outlook, whichever email platform your company uses, set aside that time to have those conversations with your leadership team. Again, team lead, supervisor, manager, whoever that is. I think it's valuable to continue to have those conversations, those spot checks here and there, especially if you feel like something is going on with you, whether it's personally or if you feel like something professionally is happening that you just kind of want some additional insights, or just a quick conversation to say, hey, I don't feel 100% about this. What can I do to make changes, or how can I make changes, or what should I do to better what I'm doing? Now, if you feel like you're having a great opportunity or a great role with your company, the one-on-ones I think would only be more positive opportunity to continue to share your progress, but also to make sure that your leadership team is aware of that progress ever so often. Because when it comes time for whether you do a quarterly check-in or your annual review, again, there's no surprise on the positive impact that you've made with the company. And ultimately, we as people, not just humans, but minorities, because I can only speak for who I work for, not who I work for, but for who I am. We have to set ourselves apart. We have to do what is best for us, and we have to stay ahead. So to me, scheduling a one-on-one with my leadership team, whether it's manager, director, supervisor, team lead, is critical and very important. I also genuinely feel that the conversation with those people, to me, it doesn't matter what job you have, even if you work in construction and your team leader, supervisor, or even your manager is able to set aside time with you per your request to have a conversation with you about how you're doing with your work, or if you just have a quick question to run by them based on your work and based on what you think is happening, or if you just feel like there's something that, like, if there's something missing, like, to me, any little thing could be helpful to have a side conversation or side discussion. But also, as a caveat, still keep in mind who you're speaking to, because again, these are the people who will document those conversations. And of course, what you discuss in those conversations will be brought up in a performance review or quarterly review, quarterly check-in. So just be mindful of what is being communicated, but also make the time and make the effort to show that you want to have these quarterly or biannually conversations, or even if it's a conversation once or twice a month. I definitely think it can help more than hurt. Now, lastly, I'll say definitely pick a cadence, which is the time frame of how often you meet with your team lead, supervisor, manager, director, whoever that is, that fits both of your schedules, and then make sure to send it to them, and then set aside at least 3 different notifications with that particular invite. So for example, if you and your direct superior agree to meet bi-weekly up until the end of the year, then you would set a calendar invite, whether it's Google, Outlook, whichever platform you're using, for a bi-weekly conversation. And let's say your manager says Mondays are the best times for me before 12. So let's say you pick 10:30, and let's say you only want to do a 30-minute conversation, because again, these are just kind of spot checks, but also opportunities to have a conversation with your direct superior, just to kind of keep everyone on the same page. When you set up that invite, you can set a notification of when to remind you and your direct superior of the meeting, because life is going to happen, work life is going to happen, things are going to come up where you may have to change the date, change the time, change the month. So make sure I recommend maybe 3 notifications, like the day before, maybe 30 minutes before, and maybe a week before. That may seem like it's excessive, but I think it's helpful, because if your direct superior is having a whole lot of things going on, especially if it's a week before, if their life is completely changed a week prior, you should be prepared enough to, when it comes to setting that week before invite, be prepared enough to change this calendar invite or change the schedule just for that instance or occurrence, so that you don't end up missing out on that important meeting, because there's a likelihood that what you need to talk to them about is important to you, and you don't want to miss out on something because there's a miscommunication on timing, or if it's the day before and then they let you know, oh wait, you know what, I can't do this after all. So I recommend at least 3 notifications, not only for them but for yourself too, with your invite cadence based on what you and your direct superior agrees upon. Then, of course, once you have those meetings, make sure to take the time. Always bring pen and paper, pencil paper. That way, what they discuss with you, something you can notate, and then put that in your separate little notepad on your computer or your sticky notes or your own separate notations that you keep when it comes to your career at your respective job, in your work journal if you have a work journal. And then just kind of keep those at bay so that you can refer back to them if let's say there's a to-do list that is given by your direct superior. You can refer back to that prior to the next meeting, but also make sure that you check off what was done, what wasn't done, all the things. And then, of course, by the time you get to the end of the year, all the conversations and things that you have had within your monthly or, bi-monthly meetings, whatever cadence you choose, you'll be able to put in your performance review, the positive things and the opportunities in order to have a comprehensive annual review with your direct superior. So to me, those one-on-one conversations can accomplish more than two things. Of course, having those spot check connections throughout your career and within that year, but also making sure you can have time to speak to that person when you feel like there's something important you need to speak to them about. You can always save it for that particular conversation that could be coming up. But most importantly, it's the best way to document all of your accomplishments and all of your challenges and opportunities in order for you to see what you've improved on, what you still may need to work on, but also what you've done well. So that is my career tip number 3. Schedule one-on-ones with your direct superiors, whether it's your director, manager, team lead, supervisor. No matter the career, in my opinion, it should work on all levels. I think it works on all levels. Even if you're an executive or CEO of a company, to me, you more than likely have a superior as well. So I definitely think it can work for all those levels. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Feel free to share the video if you think this is a valuable tip. Thank you all for sticking it out with me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you all watching my videos. I will be more consistent. I just wanted to make sure I was a lot better and was physically better. So thank you so much for sticking with me. You all enjoy your weekend. Have a happy January 31st. And I will see you all next week.